How we doing today?
I'm good. Real good. Feeling good.
So introduce yourself, your name, where you from, and how you feeling today.
My name is LIONE'Ls. I'm from East Harlem, born and raised in East Harlem. I'm feeling good. If I had to find one word to describe how I'm feeling as a man, I think it's confident.
Oh, yes, I love that.
Confident.
All right. So we're gonna get into your childhood. How was your environment in the house, in school, even after school around your area?
So as a child, like growing up was pretty cool because I was fortunate enough to have both of my folks in my life, my mom and my dad. My father was definitely one of my first idols that I had growing up. Like, you know, he taught me almost everything I know now, and I'm very grateful for that. I grew up as I grew up an only child. I have a sister, but she's not my sister from my mom. She's my sister from my dad. So she didn't really grow up with me. So I grew up by myself, like, you know, in the home. I had my cousins, my older cousins, and a cousin that's my age, who's like a brother to me. So I always have family like around. I learned from them too, especially my older cousins, because they taught me a lot of things that are heavily influenced on me today, like hip hop, basketball, sports, I said hip hop, music in general, you know? So like a lot of those things, like I learned from them because those are like big bros to me at the time. My family dynamic in the household was it was a lot of love. I never saw my pops or my mom you know, get into any physical altercations, right? I never saw my dad put his hands on my mom. I never saw my mom put her hands on my dad, which taught me that that's how you're supposed to treat women, you know? Like, that's how love is supposed to look. They've been married for like 36 years.
Oh.
So it's definitely a trait that I feel that I learned as I'm, you know, still, even though I'm older, right? But I'm still growing into the person that I am. So, you know, you learn things from your childhood that kind of transcends into your adulthood.
Okay, so were you allowed to express any emotions in that?
Yeah, oh. You know, that's one thing that I definitely feel like when I have a kid, I'm gonna allow them to do more, right? Because I remember a lot of times where like I would be upset about something or I'll be sad about something, and it wasn't really a lot of like, feel your feelings kind of thing, you know? It's like, okay, you'll be okay, get over it, you know? Especially like for my dad. My dad used to say like, why you always crying? Stop crying. I used to be like, all right, nigga. You know what I mean? I didn't say all right, nigga, but like, you know, I used to like,
just kind of sucked it up.
Yeah, I'm like, man, all right. He was like, yo, boys don't cry. He literally used to tell me that. I used to be like, you know, so, which, you know, I feel like 75% of the male population or more experience that, you know? Like, there's not really a lot of, especially when you're dealing with your dad, like there's not a lot of social, emotional kind of like intelligence, right? Because my dad probably didn't get that from his dad, right? And my grandfather probably didn't get that from his dad. So
A generational.
it's a generational thing, right? So so to answer your question, like, nah, it wasn't like a lot of like, my mom comforted me, right? Like if I was crying, like I could go to my mom and like she'll hold me or, you know, give me whatever I needed to make me feel good was fine, but it was never like a conversation of why you feel that way, you know, or like what made you feel that way, or, you know, how did you feel when you saw that made you feel that way, like those type of conversations, you know. Never from my mom and definitely wasn't from my dad. So I hope that answers.
It does. So since your father was very active in your life, did you have any other father figures, like, you know, maybe an uncle,
yeah,
or someone in school you could look up to?
I had a few. I had a handful. And each male figure in my life inspired me in different ways.
Okay.
So my dad is obviously my father, right? So that's the man that I saw the most. He kind of influenced me in a way like, this is how I would expect you to be, right? Because I'm teaching you the right and wrongs. Then I had like gym teachers, right, who were more athletic. My dad wasn't really as athletic as me, so I had my gym teacher. You know, his name is Mr. Million, and I remember he kind of taught me like push-ups, pull-ups, running, pace, you know, and he was a black man as well, and he was Haitian. So I had him. I remember I had my uncle, you know, he was more like, from my dad's side, my dad's brother. So he was more like lavish kind of things, like cars, travel.
Like a bougie uncle.
Money, yeah, money. Like he used to get me like, he got me my first camera, you know? Like this shit was like $2,000, right? And I couldn't afford that in college, and he gave it to me as a gift. So I had that uncle. Then I had, you know, we're only talking about people I know, or like it could be.
It can be anyone else.
Then I have like, you know, sports figures, right? Like Kobe Bryant. You know, he taught me a lot of things along the lines of like dedication, hard work, drive, focus, you know, like, you know, putting the work in, and then you'll be able to pursue those dreams that you want. Then we have J. Cole, right? And that's another one. J. Cole was kind of like an adolescent kind of stage in my life where like,
your teenage years?
Teenage years, right? Like I was like not young enough to be considered I was a child, but not young enough to be like, I'm gonna tell my parents what's going on in school, right? But then at the same time, not old enough to be like, I know how to handle this. And I feel like music and hip hop, which I learned from my cousins who also influenced me, right? Teaches young black men how to express themselves, right? Like, I think it's truly a beautiful talent when someone could write something and it could resonate with you.
Oh, definitely.
In every way, every aspect, right? Like, and I think that's a true artist. Like, and that goes for like poetry, it goes for music, it goes for books. And I feel like J. Cole really tapped into like what resonated himself with me is like I remember I had a cousin who was doing drugs, like he was selling drugs and he was like doing all these wrong things, and I was like 13, 12, 14, around there. And like it was a lot of choices I had to make, right? Like obviously I wasn't selling drugs, I wasn't doing drugs, but you could easily get influenced by your peers, especially like when you are friends with them, right? Like you could be cool with someone one year, especially when you're a kid, like you could be cool with someone, right? You playing basketball with them, you're hanging out with them, and then the next year their life changed, you see them chilling on the block, you know, doing whatever the hell they're doing, and you're here trying to go play ball and practice, and you see them, you get distracted, right? So, and that's like family. Like he wasn't blood family, family through marriage. So, all this to say, like I was very confused, right? Because my dad's here telling me, because I want to listen to my pops, he's telling me like, yo, you can't hang out with him no more, right? But then me, like the coming of age me is like, yeah, but that's my,
you want to be there for him.
Yeah, like that's my boy, you know, that's my, not only is it kind of like my cousin, right, through marriage, but we were playing basketball like a year ago together on the team, you know, so like it was a lot of choices. And I remember, you know, J. Cole, like with music, there's a song he got called Two-Face, and basically in that song he's kind of describing how there's two sides to a person, right? You got someone who trying to do the right thing in life, and then you got someone who's kind of making the wrong choices. But because that person's making the wrong choices doesn't mean that, you know, it changes who you are, right? Like it doesn't mean you guys steer you off of your path. So that was like one of the first real, you know, influences that I had at the age. I'm kind of like tearing up thinking about it. So it was crazy. But yeah.
So would you feel comfortable talking to your father?
About that now?
Now and then just
yeah, hell yeah. Now I would, but back then, he would be like, no. He would just be like, no. I'm like, but then it goes down to the whole shutting down thing, right? Like, I tell him like, yo, I'm trying to go hang out with this guy. Like, his name is Cliff. So I was like, yo, I'm trying to go hang out with Cliff. And, you know, he's outside fucking selling drugs, right? Like, or like he's outside, like, you know, making trouble. Like, in my dad's eyes making trouble, but I just want to say what's up to him, right? And my dad was like, no. Like, it felt so awkward, like understanding like awkwardness, like just walking past someone you was cool with like a year ago, and then a year later it's like you gotta act like he doesn't exist, right? Like
Which is hard.
Which is extremely hard, like especially like when he's a teammate, like you know. So it was definitely a strange time, but you know the influence of music kind of helped. It 100% helped me out, big time.
So today, overall, you feel comfortable talking to your father about your mental health?
Yeah.
And your uncles, grandfathers?
My uncle, I don't know, but my dad for sure. Now, cause I got a whole master's degree in social work, so like, that's my whole forte. So like, you know, I could talk to him about that easy peasy. But my uncles, maybe, not the rich one, but I have another one who lives in Texas. Also, like he's actually my godfather. So that's like my dad number 2. So I'm very close with him, and I could talk to him about it. But my uncle with money, I don't know. I don't think that nigga's really hit me out. He was like, "What are you talking about?" And I never met my grandfather because he passed away before I was born. It's cool. It's all right. But yeah.
So earlier you mentioned because the way your father treated your mother, you see yourself as a father. So can you go more into depth
detail?
With that? Yeah. Especially with the mindset you grew up with versus now.
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. It's funny. I was out at a dinner yesterday, and
the question came up.
my mentor was like, how do you why do you wanna what she said? She said something like, why do you want to have a family? Why do you want to get married or whatever it gets to be? And I told her because I want a wife. She's like, why? I was like, because I want to experience. I love love. She was like, why? And I was like, because that's what I want. She was like, why? Why do you want that? And I was like, because I want a legacy. And she was like, okay, that sounds like a selfish thing. I was like, I don't think that's selfish. I think that's how I was raised, and that's my influence based on my experiences.
But there's also a difference between wanting a wife and wanting to be a
husband. Yeah, exactly. I want to be a husband though. I don't want to just have a wife and and knock her up and have a bunch of kids. Nah, I'm not trying to do that. But I do want a wife. I do want to be a husband, and I feel like that influence in my mind stems from my experience with my dad. To circle back to what you're saying, and I think what was one of the most earliest memories of like the concept of family to me was I remember when I was like maybe 4 years old. Shit, I won't say 3 because you don't really remember much of 3, but I definitely would say I was like maybe 4. It wasn't like 2000 yet. It was like maybe like 90, 98 maybe. So I probably was 3, like 3 turning 4. And I remember seeing a magnet. It was a picture magnet of my parents on their wedding day on the fridge. And I just felt like that's what
you wanted?
I wanted, you know? Because I seen the dynamic of love. I didn't even know what love is, right? Like, I'm watching Barney. Like, Barney's telling you love, you know, how to love people. I didn't know what the fuck that was.
The ending song.
Yeah, but I didn't know what love is, you know what I'm saying? But like, seeing it, how my pops would operate with my mom and stuff like that, and then seeing that on the fridge kind of told me, like, okay, this is something I want. And I guess, like, that's kind of like the first idea, experience I had. And then, like, I think also seeing like anniversaries, birthdays, you know, vacations. Date nights, yeah.
That sounded questionable.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I remember a lot of those. I don't think I remember a lot of those. But I remember my father like doing acts of service for my mom, you know, that showed me like this is how you're supposed to treat a woman, right?
Actions over words.
Actions over words. Oh, words too, but like, you know, like at the time the newspaper was a big thing. So he used to like get sections in the newspaper and write her love notes in the newspaper, and then he'll tell her to go read the newspaper. Or, you know, he'll get her. I remember there's a few times like he'll get like flowers sent to her job. I remember there's a few times like when we go on vacation, and you know, as a family, you know, just the way they experience love, like on like cruises and like stuff like that, dancing together and things, you know. So those experiences that I saw taught me like, okay, this is how it's kind of supposed to be to treat another person, to treat a woman. So that's kind of, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
So just based off your childhood along with your parents, you want to be a husband and be a father to your kids.
Yeah.
You want to be present in their life.
Oh, hell yeah, 100%.
No, because there's a difference between a man of the house and a man in the house. So
I'm gonna be in the house. I'm not gonna be outside. I 100% will want to be in the house. I want to be married first, though.
Married first.
Yeah, before kids.
But there's also the fact that people get married and then become a parent immediately.
Sometimes things, you know,
Things
happen, yeah, but that's uncontrollable. Well, it's controllable, but like things happen. But ideally, I would want to get married first. Or if I was to find out that I'm having a kid, I would want to get married before the kid comes into the world.
And be as present as possible. Know the child's pediatrician, know the school, know the teacher,
everything. PTA every month, like involved with the school. Because that's what I had, you know, like that's what I experienced. And that's how a man's supposed to be. You have to take care of your family. You have to.
You kind of have no choice sometimes.
You have a choice, but the choice is to do it. You like, that's what you have to do. Like, at least I think so. Like,
I agree.
To skip out on your child, you know how impactful that is to them? Like,
Of course.
sucks, bro. Like, I remember my cousin, unfortunately, his dad passed away at a young age. So my dad was the one who was raising him.
Stepped up.
Yeah, we used to bring him over to my house, and we literally grew up together. So he was like his father figure too. So that's also what taught me how to be a man as well, you know? Yeah, facts. There's one thing a man has to do. One thing that they always have is their word, and they have to take care of their family. I think that's the two most important things that a man could do, be accountable.
All right, getting into adulthood, what are some habits that you've done that hurt people without you recognizing it? Like as a trauma response, trauma reflex, you know, affected your loved ones, your close friends?
Oh, bro. This is gonna be on the internet, right?
Yeah. Right on YouTube. Say what's up to the YouTube people.
All right, let's be honest. Trauma is a taught experience in a way as much as it is a learned experience. So in Caribbean homes, amongst men, you get kind of like that jokey kind of conversation, like, oh, how many girlfriends you have? You know, like, oh, you got a girlfriend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you hear that at a young age, you think that's okay, right? Now, my personal life, like, I never saw my dad step out on my mom in my life. But you still, you know, it takes one experience to kind of throw you off.
It does.
You know, but that one experience shouldn't, like, you know, make your decision that everyone is that way, you know? All right, so going into my early adulthood, like 20 years old, I was like 19 turning 20. I was in a long-term relationship in high school, and like in my mind, like this person is like it, right? Like I could vouch for myself. Like I was young, man. Like I didn't know what love was or whatever, but I knew how I felt about the person. I know how she made me feel, and I know what I wanted, right? Like, and that may have looked like marriage, which it did, and like I had a plan, like whatever the case may be. And I don't want to get too much detail, right? But her choices for her life was different than what I wanted. So her choices ended up, you know, she made her choice that's best for her, even though like it damaged me, right, in a way that I never really addressed until recently. But it left me in a space where I was repeating a behavior based off of the experience that I felt. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In my early years of my adulthood. What I learned with therapy is that if you don't address or take care of those experiences that you had, that trauma is always going to show up, no matter what.
Even when you least expect it.
Could expect it. You know you're doing it. You know that you're doing something, right? Like sometimes it's unconscious, but like majority of the time you know you're making these choices, right? Based off whatever. Like you're trying to protect your feelings, you don't want to get hurt, like you don't, you know, you want to feel like you have other girls, you know, based off like what, you know, you heard from your uncles or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever that trauma is what you are protecting yourself from. Now, because of those experiences, it allowed me to navigate my life with relationships with women, sometimes not in the best ways, right? I could be very dismissive with myself, right? Based off like things I heard growing up. Like sometimes like I know my dad, like, you know, if he wanted to like when I was a kid, like if he wanted to travel or go somewhere, you know, he's gonna do it, right? Now, my mom never stopped him from doing it, right? But she would express herself like, I don't remember the complete base of the conversation. I was a child, I was like 7, 8, but 9, 6, whatever. But I remember like it being arguments, right? About him going to Carnival in Haiti, or like him going with my aunt and uncles to Haiti, and she has to be here, you know, I'm in school, like who's going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his things, like I work hard, like this is what I want to do.
So his little vacation.
Yeah. So, my mom used to get tight, and I remember that my dad used to be like, yo, I'm going, like regardless of like how you feel. And that could be dismissive, right? That is very dismissive. So, but that's a learned behavior, right? Because like I said like earlier, like I'm learning from my pops, right? Like how I think or how he thought, like this is how you're supposed to, you know, you treat situations and relationships, right? And that transcended into my adulthood. Like when I'm in relationships, you know, when I was in my early 20s, it was a lot of dismissive behaviors I used to say, right? Based on how the other person may feel. And that's something I learned that's not okay. Another example is like, you're not being comfortable with yourself, right? Like, the trauma that I experienced when I went through what I went through with my long-term relationship in high school, how I felt, why the person did what they did towards me based off how I looked or like whatever the case may be, was something I never really took care of, right? So what that means. So now every time I date, right, or date someone or get to know someone, back in my head, I have these insecurities thinking that the same thing's gonna happen again, but based on who I am, right? But with therapy, you understand that it's not who you are, is their choice of what they did.
It's their fault.
Well, yeah, I guess it's their fault. Yeah, but they have their own shit that they're going through that it just reflected in, you know, you come off as like, it's you, but it wasn't you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because at an early age, like early adulthood in terms of relationships, because that's the question, right? Right?
Just in general, how you hurt people.
Yeah, you hurt people based off like your trauma, and you don't really deal with that trauma. I feel like I was going somewhere and I started chatting a little bit. I'm sorry. Yeah, so like hurt people, lying, dismissive behavior, not being honest with yourself, And then when you're not honest with yourself, how you can be honest with someone else? So that's how you hurt people.
So based off your experience, what are you struggling with from the past that you're still struggling with?
Now?
Yeah. And what are you trying to let go of too? Especially that you mentioned you go to therapy.
I think a big thing that I learned now that I'm 30, that I wish I could go back to the 20-year-old me 10 years ago when I was starting at Plattsburgh, was that be honest with yourself. Be honest how you feel, be honest how you think about yourself, be honest how you may think other people may feel about you, and work on it. I think, right, I'm sorry, can you say the question again? I'm back.
Something you're struggling with the past and are still struggling with today.
I think just if I could go back, and tell myself in the past, like, just be honest with yourself, right? And like, don't think like you're not good enough for somebody based off how someone else treated you. That's what I would tell my past self. And now that I'm 30 and I'm more in my middle adulthood, right? Not middle adulthood, but like
a little more mature.
Mature adulthood, like I'm more mature. I just feel like I struggle with dealing with your insecurities about yourself, because everyone has insecurities about themselves, and how it affected my mental health into doing bad habits. So, like, if I address the shit that I should have addressed instead of suppressing it in a way that I shouldn't have, right? And that suppression may have looked like smoking marijuana, looking for attention from other people. What else? There's so many different like behaviors that you could do that kind of just makes you feel comfortable for a momentary thing, but you're not really diving into the nitty-gritty of why you feel that way, And I feel like before I was in my 30s, I was lying to myself and I wasn't addressing those things. So now that I am addressing those things, I feel more confident about myself. I feel more secure about who I am. I feel more accountable about who I am. And I think as I'm transcending into my older age of like 31, 32, 33, God willing, like those skills that I didn't address back then, now that I am doing it now, are helping me become the man who I want to be for my future person.
So do you have a network of people to support you through your struggles and challenges, even when you were in your 20s?
When I was in my 20s, no, I didn't. I feel like I was really just doing it on my own. But as an adult, I do.
So when was the last time you felt seen or heard by somebody?
That's a good question. When I talked to my best friend.
Okay.
When I talked to my best friend.
Your homie?
My homie. Yeah, I feel very heard. Very heard. I feel very seen because I feel like we're both almost the same age. Like, I'm older than him by a year, but it's good when you have someone who kind of going through the same thing you went through or experiences, because you guys can relate. And he holds me accountable, So I think, when I express to him, like, bro, I'm stressed out about X, Y, Z, and he listens, it makes me feel hurt.
You talk to him on a regular basis?
Yeah, I talk to him all the time. Talk to him all the time.
Life be lifing, so.
Yeah, but he lives in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So yeah, so I talk to him all the time.
So do you feel safe today in the world as a man? And do you feel like social media? Oh, damn.
I don't.
Do you feel also social media plays a role, both good and bad?
I don't feel safe in the world as a man today.
Go into depth.
Because of what's going on politically.
Yeah.
Even though I was born here, but at the end of the day,
right.
You know what I mean?
They're gonna look at your color first.
Yeah, they could pull me over too. So I don't feel safe, and I don't feel my friends are safe, and I ride for my niggas. So I'm 10 toes on that. So if shit comes and push to shove, then
We're gonna fight.
we go get it. We go get it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So no, I don't feel safe. What's the other question?
Does social media play a role, both good and bad, pros and cons? Especially like after.
I feel social, huh?
No, I was gonna say just after like 2020, a lot of people have been on the internet just expressing opinions about
Everything?
conversations that may be irrelevant sometimes.
I feel like there's a lot more cons than pros as of right now.
I agree.
We live in a time period where like something could be blatantly wrong, and there's somehow someone will find justification to what it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense. Like if we can't, as a society, come together and agree on what's wrong, then where are we, right? Like if we can't come together and say, yo, this person shouldn't have got shot because of them driving, away, or whatever the case may be, where's the morals? As a society, this is like a social thing. Like as a society, I'm not talking about if you like Donald Trump, if you like, Democrat, Republican, I don't give a fuck. I'm just talking about as a society. If you can't look at someone and say, yo, that's wrong that they killed this person, then where are we, right? So, and I feel social media plays a big factor on that because everyone thinks they have the most valid opinion because they have a phone in their hand.
Oh, of course.
So there's no morals. There's no morals. I feel like that took away the complete, especially like the age we live in. It takes away the complete title of like, right and wrong.
You said in today's time, is it also like people just pulling out their phones and just not helping?
I don't have a problem with recording. Like I think like the world needs to see these things happen, right? And that's a pro, right? Because if it was 2005 or 2000 or 2009 or whatever the case may be, right? And we saw, let's use George Floyd for example. We wouldn't have saw it that way. That's point blank period. It wouldn't have been, we wouldn't knew about it, but it wouldn't have been broadcasted the way it was. We saw that right in front, it was like right in front of us. It was all over the news. It was like right in front of us. And I think that's a pro, right? Because you're able to show what is actually going on. You know what I mean? Now, people helping is different, right? Because you could have your phone out and still help. But there are situations where like, people just pull out their phone and they do nothing. They just try to get content for their views or likes or go viral or whatever the case may be. It's the wrong idea. So, I hope I answered you. Answered you?
Yes.
Okay.
So getting into self-care and wellness, what are some personal goals you would like to focus on to improve your mental health?
What are some goals that I like to focus on to improve my mental health? I've been reading more.
Ooh, what book?
I'm reading a book, self-care books. I'm reading a lot of self-care books that my therapist, she sent over to me like sometime in like September, around there, like October, and I'm taking my time with it. I am reading them often, like once, 3 times, twice a week. I usually read them a lot in the gym.
While you working out?
Like in between sets. You gotta work out the mind, man.
Okay, that's true.
You gotta work out the mind just as you work out your body. But yeah, I've been reading more, and that's something I haven't really done in the past as much. Journaling more. That's been helping me a lot too. Reading my past entries on my journals, also, like a lot of like self-reflection stuff.
Oh, did you write a journal in like your 20s or?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so recently.
So I
just
started journaling like when I was 27.
Okay.
So it's been like 3 years now. So like sometimes I'll read my stuff from back then, and then I'll read where I am now, and there's definitely growth. So those things definitely like help with my mental health.
Okay, that's good. What are some self-care stuff that you're doing, you know, besides reading? You said in between sets at gym. Are you sleeping well, drinking enough water?
Water every day. That's all I really drink. I drink water. I don't smoke marijuana no more. I stopped doing that. I'm like, yeah, that's really
How many
good.
years free? How many years sober?
Years.
Months?
Months.
Okay. No, that's good.
Years, yeah. Like
You gotta start somewhere.
2 months now. 2 months, yeah.
Okay.
It feels great. I feel like a reset because most of my 20s, that's what I was doing.
Okay.
But I was doing that because I realized I was just running from my problems, right? Self-care.
Yeah, you said reading.
Yeah, reading, writing, gym, basketball, running. Love running. Oh, that's when you really, really, really test yourself,
When
man.
did you start running?
I started running in 2024, and
It's almost like 2 years.
yeah, like 2024 in the summer,
Okay.
like August-ish, and that's when I really was like, okay, this is good for your mental health because it's really you and your thoughts, you know, and then you're pushing yourself. It's really you versus you. There's times where I was running and like, I'll fucking cry. Like I'll just be running and I'm tearing up because you're in your head, you know what I mean? You're thinking about yourself, you're thinking about how you feel. Is it on?
Yes.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm running, thinking about myself. I'm thinking about how I feel about myself. And, you know, sometimes you just break down. But that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it's okay. And, like, that's why I enjoy running a lot, too, because it gives you that time. Like, it's just you versus you, you know? You're improving yourself. I love that. This might be, like, obviously, but, like, self-care. But, like, I noticed that I like doing, like, taking care. I mean, I always wash my face. But, like, I've been, like, doing more routinely kind of things
Like twice a week.
I started using toner stuff. Yeah, type shit. Yeah.
With hazel?
No, well that's good too. But I use something from Sephora actually.
Oh, you use Sephora now?
Yeah, on 25th. I walked in there. I said, "Yo, I'm trying to get some nice skincare things," and Shorty hooked me up. So I've been really like tapped in with like more skincare stuff. I used to have a really bad habit of biting my fingernails when I get nervous, so I stopped doing that.
So you were anxious?
I used to get real anxious about things. I used to bite my nails, and I stopped. I'm like also like a month in, or 2 months, like maybe.
So what's helping you stop?
I think I'm just being more real with myself. Like, okay, you feel this way right now. It's all right. Like before I used to just like feel the way I felt and I just reacted off the feeling in my head. Now it's like, okay, you feel this way because of this, right? You know why you feel this way. Now what you're gonna do, right? And then I'll just kind of think of like strategies I could do to make me feel better. Like that looks like me, you know, leaving my office at my job and going for a walk and then going back upstairs. If it looks like me, like listening to some music or like listening to the radio. I love listening to the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
That calms me down. So I'll put that on. If it looks like me, you know, eating some candy, like I shouldn't, but like that's a comfort thing, right? So I'll get some candy, like whatever kind of like triggers me to calm down instead of me biting my fingernails. So I've been doing that more. Yeah, just trying to like be more conscious. I think that improves your mental health a lot.
It does. It definitely does. So what is something you're looking forward to about the future? Personal and professional goals.
Personal, I want to find a new apartment in Harlem. I want to stay in Harlem. Hopefully Mandani can hold it down with this affordable housing, man. Niggas need it. So that's one. Another personal is, no, this will be a professional. I want to get my social work license so I could practice therapy on other people, so I could give therapy services. Something I want to do. Very important to me. Career-wise, in terms of my camera, I want to transition really like full time. I feel like I did everything I wanted to do in music. Like the past like 20 years of my time with my camera, like I really invested in like my music time. Like I do sports too, but like I was so fixated on like festivals, concerts, and I still love doing those things, but I want to transition from my 30s. I want to transition to sports. So I want to work at Madison Square Garden. So I want to see if I could do like content, photo over there, speaking of shit to existence. So I really want to, I'm trying to network and find my way through there. So I really want to shoot Knicks games. I have the experience. I worked at the NBA. I shot Brooklyn Nets games a few times, multiple times, a handful of times actually. So I know what.
You already have that network.
I have that network. So now I just want to put it to work and to really dive into that next chapter with my camera. Like I think that's sports. So that's a goal for me. The final goal in terms of personal, like I just want to continue to take this time to really keep improving on myself. So I could be a great, amazing husband for a woman one day and have a beautiful family. So just gotta keep, grinding it out and working on yourself.
I love that. So you kind of answered this question earlier, but we're gonna rephrase it. Just advice you would give to your younger self, like if you were looking at like 10-year-old Lionel, what would you tell him?
I would tell him like, yo, it's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay to feel, different. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay that you feel like you're alone sometimes, It's all right. It's okay to feel like, one day, like you might be by yourself. It's okay to feel like, that you might be one day, how am I trying to say? Like one day things could not always go the way you wanted to, right? But I'll also tell him just keep believing in yourself. Don't change course. Everything that you want to do, everything that you want to do will happen in its time. And all the dreams that you have that you want to do is going to happen. And just stay focused, stay steady. But don't be afraid to feel yourself.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
At this moment, on this day, at this moment, what are you most grateful for, personally?
I think what I'm most grateful for is my ability to be accountable and really make change. If I wasn't grateful for anything, it would be not the ability to look myself in the face and be like, hey, you gotta be real with yourself. You need to put in the work, And because I am able to do that, and am actively doing it, that's something I'm very proud of myself with, because I wasn't doing that when I was 19, 20, I wish I was, but God has like a plan for you, and every experience that happens in your life is meant to happen. Always, the good and the bad. The worst of the worst and the best of the best is always a life lesson, somehow. So that's a perspective I have, and that's what I'm really grateful for. Being in this space, entering this chapter of my life where I'm growing into, the next decade of my life. And I'm just very, very grateful to be accountable for myself.
I love that. So we are going to talk more, just a general perspective on the men's community.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think are some of the biggest obstacles that you've noticed in the men's community that they face, and that also goes with therapy, especially for the elders?
People think that therapy is like a weak thing. If you have a therapist, something's wrong, you're weak. You know what I mean? And that's not what it is at all. It actually means you're strong, because you're able to look yourself and be like, yo, I need help. And I wish that black men start thinking about, well, men in general, but we're gonna talk about people like us, black men. So I hope that they could really understand, as important it is to go to work and make money, as important it is to go to a doctor to check on yourself, as important it is to, whatever it may look like, as important it is to look at the Knicks game, it's just as important as you have to take care of your mental health. And I feel like until we start understanding generational trauma is a real thing, regardless if it's drastic or not as drastic, it influences your actions on how you act towards others. And that goes for friends, friendship relationships, romantic relationships, every type of relationship. And if you don't address those traumatic experiences, then it's never gonna happen. You're just gonna keep putting it under the rug and acting like it's gonna be okay when it's not. So I would just, if I had to suggest one thing for Black men and their mental health, is to be comfortable with yourself.
So what do you think we should do as a community for men's mental health?
It needs to be highlighted more. It needs to be highlighted in a way where it's more appealing to the average Black male. You know what I mean? And that may look like having your favorite rapper talk about it. It may look like, having your favorite, sports player or, basketball player, or football player, host an event, highlighting Black mental health. It may look like it being taught in schools at a young age, right? If mental health was a course in elementary school, the same way how there is a fitness course, then that would change the trajectory as well. But it needs to be just spoken about, right? The same way, your uncles and your pops talk about you having all these girlfriends is the same way how your pops and your uncles should talk about how you should take care of your mental health. How are you feeling? Are you okay? How was your day at school today? What happened today made you cry? How did it make you feel when you cried? Those type of questions, instead of being suck it up, stop crying. So I think it really stems from the young. And if I had to suggest anything to change the trajectory of mental health in Black men, it's just having more action towards it. So, maybe you're, like I say, your favorite sports player, basketball player, rapper, being taught in schools more.
Okay. So you as a person, you've gone to therapy before, so you would highly recommend it for
everybody. Yeah,
everybody.
Everybody.
How do you feel when someone says
man up? I don't really hear it a lot. To be honest with you, as much as I did when I was a kid. Now as an adult, which is a good thing, I guess, because it either means that a lot of my friends aren't having kids, or I'm not around kids enough to hear it. But if I was to hear it, and I'm in presence, I would tell the father, hey, because I do this with my clients sometimes too, in my work. I say, hey, try to frame how you feel about the situation into something that feels more easygoing for your child, right? That makes him feel comfortable with how he's feeling right now. Not saying that it's okay that he feels the way he feels, it's okay that he's crying, right? You want him to stop crying, I understand that, but don't dismiss his feelings. Confront his feelings. Ask him why he's feeling like that. And then after you ask him why he feels like that, tell him that it's okay to feel that way. You could then direct it a different way. But the reason why I don't want you to cry, or reason why you shouldn't be crying, is because you did this action on your own, right? And you're sad about it, so that's why you're crying. But at this moment, you can feel that feeling, but I don't know. What I'm trying to say. I guess I'm trying to say, I would say just confront them in a different way.
Be more emotionally intelligent?
Be more emotionally intelligent of how they feel, why they feel that way. Instead of just dismissing them and be like, stop crying, And there's different ways to tell your child, you want them to stop crying without just being like, stop crying, shut up, There's different ways to go about it. If you need a moment to cry, cry.
And then talk about it.
And then let's talk about it, right? So he takes it out, he cries, and then when he's done crying, you talk. but you just can't dismiss them.
And final question, something you want everyone watching to know about men's mental health, and what word would you describe to be like the most important?
Something that I would want everyone watching about men's mental health is that it's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay to feel every inch of anxiety. It's okay to feel every inch of self-doubt. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel all these feelings because they're normal feelings. But that doesn't mean that it's okay not to address those feelings, because every feeling you have stems from an experience, and that experience turns into trauma. So we have to be able to address the trauma so that we could be our best selves. In order to be our best selves, you have to go to therapy.
Woo! Come on, Lionel.
Yes.
Anything you would like to add as we wrap up?
Tap into In the Man's Mind. You already know. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Hey. Nice.